Welcome to National Pension Partners, where retirement planning meets peace of mind. Today, we're diving into the 412(e)(3 plan, also known as a fully insured pension plan. This isn't just any retirement plan. It's the gold standard for stability and guaranteed benefits. How does it work? Simple. It's funded exclusively by life insurance and annuity contracts. This means no market risks, no actuarial assumptions, just ironclad guarantees. Think of it like this. You're a small business owner who hates surprises. The 412(e)(3 plan gives you predictable, stable contributions every year. Your future benefits are backed by insurance contracts, so you know exactly what you're getting. No guesswork, no headaches. But there's more. These plans are designed to maximize your contributions and offer significant tax advantages. And with National Pension Partners, you're not just getting a plan, you're getting a team of experts, attorneys, CPAs, actuaries, all dedicated to making your retirement as secure as possible. We provide personalized consulting, ensuring that your plan is tailored to your specific needs. Best part, initial consultations and proposals are absolutely free. $0, zero commitment. So if you want a retirement plan that's as reliable as your morning coffee, head over to nationalpensions.com. With the 412(e)(3 plan, your future is in safe hands. Retirement planning never sounded so thrilling. Perfect for small business owners who like their finances as predictable as Monday mornings. Stable contributions, ironclad guarantees, and serious tax advantages. It's the trifecta of financial security. And with National Pension Partners, you get a team of brainiacs, attorneys, CPAs, actuaries, ensuring your retirement is as secure as Fort Knox. Oh, did we mention the free consultations? That's right. You get a personalized expert proposal with $0 down. So, if you want a retirement plan that's as reliable as your morning coffee, head over to nationalpensions.com. Because when it comes to your future, boring is the new exciting. Retirement planning never sounded so thrilling. For more details, check out National Pension Partners at nationalpensions.com. Retirement planning never sounded so thrilling.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the media show on the Pod TV network. I'm Nick Palavita. I'll be your moderator for today's show. And today's show, we're going to discuss hot topics. And with hot topics, we have hot heads that you may have seen on some of our prior shows. So we're going to bring them right on in, and this way they can give us what the hot topics are on the media. First of all, we're going to the Progressive. We'll bring in Jatovi from the Durham area, and then we'll go to Canada and bring in Sasha Starr. We'll go to the United States and bring in Mark Lee, who has over 100 years experience in doing this. And then Australia, we'll bring in Shaquille Latmer. And I hate to say that I know a little bit about actuaries since I've run an actuarial firm for 23 years, even had a couple of FSAs that worked for me. So I kind of understand the systems that they go through to be a member of the Society of Actuaries. One guy, John Bremer, was a fellow of Society of Actuaries. And then I know the whole game. In other words, they're just like
I wish Dave had have hung around, because I was going to tell you what I wrote one of my papers on. Just so I don't just look like the pretty face that everyone says at the moment. This beard looks terrible. I've been told by family members that I look like I'm a homeless vagrant. And Joel Jamal has asked me if I'd be interested in coming in to his program on Wednesday our time, Tuesday night for you guys for the debate. And so I said, yeah, okay, I'll do that. So I'll be off to the barbers tomorrow, and I'll come back looking pretty again.
More sharper, you know I do that regularly.
So I'll try. And then my mother, who's in another state, God bless her, tells me, look, if you are going to keep the goatee, could you at least dye it because you're looking old? Well, thanks, Mum. Well, I do want to say now I've picked on myself. I'm gonna come out swinging, not just at Jatovi, but come out swinging at Nick as well. So firstly, Nick, I am so glad that you are now back with the Republicans, because I think that is where you belong, right? Because I've watched that ad so many times to National Pension Partners.
I like it.
And I don't care how hard you try. I love your company. I love what you guys do. I don't care how hard you try, you are never going to make pension plans sound exciting. But it was a good effort. If you are going to be this,
Wait.
we're going to be this boring, you need to be a Republican conservative, right? Because that's where you fit.
Let me tell you something, my tax cheapo friend. Okay, here's the reality why it's exciting. Okay, you come to the United States and you hate the tax.
I'm excited. I'm excited by it. I think it's brilliant.
I'm gonna make this exciting for you right now,
Yeah.
Shaquille. You can get a deduction, 100,000, 200, 300, 400, 500,000 a year by setting up a pension in the United States.
I've looked into it, as you know, I've been wanting to talk to you about this.
All high-income people.
Absolutely, Nick. I'm excited, but I'm excited. Honestly, I find what you're doing to be exciting. I've looked into what you guys are offering. You know that I've had many conversations with you about the sort of stuff that you offer. I think it's brilliant. But, as Toby keeps pointing out, I'm single. There's a reason why I'm single, right? Because you can't go to a bar and go, there's $500,000 tax deduction. That's just not exciting people. Now, over to our good friend Toby. Hang on, Mark. Let me finish my swings and then I'll hand over to you. Over to our good friend Toby. Toby, I don't know why you don't take up my offers. I make such generous offers to you. So on World Edition, I said to you, look, bro, I could hook you up with some people at the DNC. I could hook you up with high-ranking members of the Democrats because you verbatim, everything that they say, you agree with everything they say. I don't know why you're not being sponsored by them. I can hook you up.
I don't need your sponsorship, but it's kind of fun.
It's not my sponsorship. It's your side.
You took your shot. You took your jab. let me point a fact out here. I speak for myself. That's why I'm on Pod TV. You're speaking the Republican talking points and the conspiracy theory things. Hence the reason the regular conspiracy theorist himself, Joel Jamal of Turning Point Australia, invited you on. So,
who's Joe Jamal?
It'd be nice if some of us spoke for themselves and not talking points.
Hold on a second.
Guilt by association, but you are still the same. You are still the same intellectual. You are still the same.
Invited you on.
Hey, Jacoby, I can get you not on this show.
Hey, Shaq, the joke is gone. We're done here.
Jacoby, not on that show, but I can get you an invite. Don't worry, I can get you an invite. No problem. No problem. But you say you speak for yourself. You say you speak for yourself. You say that you speak for yourself.
Your help.
Okay, fine. You've already said that. Okay, you've already said that. I'm going to respond to something else. You say that you speak for yourself, but I speak Republican talking points. But you are, if I recall correctly, and we can play the tape back. You're the same intellectual and moral coward that wouldn't fall out, that wouldn't support Palestine until after the progressives start supporting them, right?
No, hold on a second. Hold on a second, because I had a question, and this is for everybody here. I know that Nick's gone, so now I'll take over and everything. Ted Koppel, a media person that I have deep respect for, did a special. I think it was on CBS last week, and I'm gonna read you. I know Sasha sometimes gets mad when I read everything, but I'll read what they said because I think that this can be a whole conversation about our conversation today, and it kind of plays into what both of you and Jacoby are doing. But the article said literally, we live in an age of alternate facts, and more Americans are getting their information almost entirely from outlets that echo their own political point of view, and then of course their social media, where there are few, if any, filters between users and a wide world of misinformation. For example, on July 13th, a sniper came within inches of assassinating Donald Trump as he addressed that outdoor rally in Pennsylvania. Within minutes, social media was alive with uninformed speculation. One woman posted, "Who did it? I bet you it was the government itself. They're on the same side." Koppel said, "We have no idea who she is. She has no particular credibility. Why should I even care that she is out there? Because she could potentially have an audience," said journalist and author Stephen Brill. "If the algorithm gives it steam, that can be seen by millions of people," which I know is what Nick wants to do here, even though I don't think we're getting at the million as of yet and now. And then on X, formerly Twitter, this message, "You're telling me that the Secret Service let a guy climb up on a roof with a rifle only 150 yards from Trump? Inside job." That message had 7 million views. and count it.
Well. Let me just say this. Let me say. Other than wild speculation, which we all do when we're exploring topics, let me say the difference between Jatovy and I is, out of politeness, I will downplay facts and turn them into concepts, whereas Jatovy overplays delusion and tries to pass them off as facts.
Wait. You said that you downplay facts?
Out of politeness for you, because I don't think you can keep up and handle the reality. Because I live in reality, and you live in some other like delusional world.
Sasha, help me out here. Sasha. Now, if you teach somebody something, like if you're if you're doing a chess move and you're trying to teach somebody something, and you say it's a fact to do it this way because this is the best outcome you're going to do. Don't move your rook first. Move this first, so on and so forth. And then the person you're teaching tells you, well, I'm going to downplay what you say and just turn everything into some concept that I have an idea on. Do you think that is a good student or a bad student?
A good student. A good student. Sasha will tell you, I have managed to beat chess players that are far better than me, right? I've actually managed to beat 2 grandmasters. Why? Because I did an open that they all tell me is a terrible open. It's my favorite open. Sasha knows that I love this open, the King's Gambit, right? I love it. I absolutely love it. It's so dangerous. When it doesn't work for me, my whole game collapses. But you know what? I don't care who the grandmaster is. I don't care if Magnus himself comes to me and says, do not play that open. It's a terrible open. I'm still going to play it. Because I love it. Because conceptually and romantically, it's beautiful.
A quick question: that in investments, one of the most important rules is preservation of capital and cutting your losses on time. So let's see if you're in a losing position in investment world, and you're losing a day, you're down, and 3 days you're even more down, and so on. So one of the ways is probably to get out of the position, take your loss, and see what's happened next. Maybe you'll get in at the lower price, or maybe you'll change your mind about the stock or a position and go into something else. Is it reasonable to assume?
Are you asking me or Jatovy?
No, you.
I assume you're asking me. Yeah. Okay. So I'll answer your question, right? Because I think you can tell by the way I play chess. I'm a very, very aggressive person, right? And so when I trade the markets, I don't like to lose. And so I realize that about myself. So the thing about trading the markets, in my personal view, is it's not actually about what is theoretically and mathematically the right or wrong thing to do. Okay, there's 5 of us here. We all have different temperaments, different mentalities, different ways of looking at things.
Agreed.
For me, I don't like to lose money on a trade. I absolutely hate. I have done it, but I absolutely hate to cut my losses short. I also don't think it makes sense, right? Because one of the things that really irked me when I was younger and studying finance was people would come up to me like, hey, you know how to make lots of money in the stock market? Cut your losses short and let your winners run. Buy low, sell high. And I'd look at them and go, you're an absolute dickhead. Like, what do you mean, like, cut my losses short? How do I know that market's not going to turn? So what I did as a result of that was I changed the way that I trade, and I found strategies that work for me. Now, Sasha, you well know that some of the strategies that you use, I don't like. They're effective. They've made you good returns. But I don't like them because it just doesn't fit for me. So I would do something similar to you, but I wouldn't do it quite the same way. So to answer your question, do you just cut your losses short? Well, I don't. I like to strategize. I like to massage the position. And I think that that's really important to be a trader and to be a successful trader. It's not so much about the strategies you're using. It's about you using strategies that fit your personality, that fit your temperament. Because when you're calm and relaxed, it's very easy to say, okay, when this happens, I'll exit the position. But when you're sitting there and it's live, and my positions are big, especially when I'm trading. Previously, when I'm trading institutional money, I've got 300-400 million on a position, and I'm down 20 million. Okay, it's hard for me to just go, hey, I'm going to take the $20 million loss. I don't want to. So I need to have strategies that I can use that are going to enable me to see a net asset value negative 20 million in big red writing, and feel like this is okay, I can massage this. Maybe it's going to take me 6 months or a year longer, but I'll hold the position and I'll turn it into a profit.
Okay,
That's me.
that's going beyond the scope of my question. Okay, I should take into account how elaborate you are on taking.
I want to get back to the media conversation really quickly.
Expand on this part, question, and others. Okay, I'll be this time a little bit more precise. Okay, it's a current wisdom of a majority of investment advisors is, as you said yourself, to cut your losses short and let your winners run. So if you cut your losses short, and there is nothing terrible about losing a point or two on some stock if you feel that your decision maybe at the beginning of the trade was not 100% right, so there is some allowance for possible mistake. But okay, let's go back into chess. Let me ask you this question. So how many games in King's Gambit you have to lose before you change your mind about the prospects of that opening? Let's see, 50, 100, 1,000, 10,000. Like what would be your
well, okay, but it depends on who I'm playing against, right? When I played against my uncle, when I finally beat him, I went onto chess.com. I looked up all his games. I studied what he did. I asked you questions. I asked Jimmy's questions. I read some books, and then I found out how he likes to play, and then I countered that, right? So you change your style. Then we come to the investment question. Cut your losses short. Well, what's short? What exactly is short? Okay, I put the trade on. Why don't I just cut my losses short when the thing goes one tick against me? Right, let my winners run. Let it run to where? Let it run back to negative. Like, what does this mean? This is it's such an arbitrary thing when people say that. That's why I don't like doing it. Now, I'm not going to bag other people who apply this and apply it well. That's great for them, but it doesn't work for me because I suck at that. Right, so that's why I elaborated as much as I did. Okay. Right, and the other thing I just want to say very quickly, you said something that was very interesting. The conventional wisdom around asset managers was interesting because the statistics say that 95 to 97% of FX traders and CFD traders lose money. That's what when you open up a brokerage account, they warn you. 95 to 97% of people lose money. Okay, well, let me ask you a question, Sacha. If you're relying so much, if you hold, with such credence what these professional investment managers say. Why are you trading? Why don't you give your money to them? I can tell you why, because you think you can do a better job, and I believe that you can, just like I believe I can do a better job. So why am I going to listen to some loser, right? Somebody who's nowhere near as good as me, and listen to their advice and think that their advice is good? It's not. Their advice is rubbish. It's shit. Look at the Great Depression, the Great Recession, right? We're talking 15 years ago. The market can only do one of two things. It can sit sideways for a bit, but ultimately it can do one of two things. It can go up or it can go down. And you have half the asset managers in the world going, oh, the market did one of the only two things it could possibly do, but we had no idea that could happen. And we've lost like 50% of your pension money. These are the people that you want to listen to. This is the wisdom you want to listen to? I don't think so.
Not at all. I agree with you. It's dangerous actually to listen to all of these advisors, because let's see a recent example from my trading. NVIDIA was going up for the last several months, and they were all writing an essay how it's dangerous stocks, that it's multiples are absolutely not supported and it will go down. Now, when it finally reached 135, even 114 intraday one day, and all of a sudden they shut up because they have a lot of short sellers on NVIDIA, and because they were all taken to cleaners. So finally, okay, NVIDIA started to go down recently because overall market direction. NVIDIA indeed was somewhat overvaluated, but overvaluated maybe today, maybe next week. What about next month? What about next 6 months? Next year? As you know, it's been announced just yesterday that Elon Musk built the biggest and the strongest supercomputer based on artificial intelligence, where he's using exclusively NVIDIA chips and processors, nothing else.
Well, we were talking about Elon Musk, being in charge of the whole audit thing, given that he's gonna send his ship up to get those astronauts back from Boeing, I think save a bit of money. The US is always, they're all complaining about the defense budget. They should probably just sell the defense department to Elon Musk, because I reckon he'd probably do a better job right in front of it. I do want to say this to you. Tesla. When Tesla went up, remember I rang you, we talked about it on the show a few times. I rang you and I went, I don't get it. It's at 400 times price earnings. It's at 600. It's at 800. It's at 1,000 times price. Nick, it can't go any further. It's at 1,000 times price earnings, right? It goes to 1,400 price earnings. Now, I took a position on Tesla, made a ton of money out of it, and the whole time I took protective put options and kept rolling them up. Because like, this can't just keep going up forever. I was just astounded. I did a similar thing with NVIDIA, and I have to say I've got to thank you for it, Sasha, because NVIDIA just wasn't a stock that I was interested in. But because of how much you've been talking about it, I did the same thing. But I think that to bring this back to media, I think this is where I will say, right, listen to all those talking heads and do the opposite. All those media people that are experts at all this stuff, they're experts on politics, they're experts on this, they're experts on that. It's entertainment. Get some popcorn out, listen to them talk. Don't believe a bloody word of it. I know Jacoby loves them, but just don't believe a word of it because they're full of crap. They don't know what they're talking about. And if they did know what they're talking about, like Jim Cramer, if they did know what they're talking about, they wouldn't be on TV. They'd be sitting on the couch like me, rolling around in the Bentley.
How dare you slap Jim Cramer?
There's a breaking news coming out now. Elon Musk is making a hostile bid to buy U.S. government. How do you like that?
I think you should look. It couldn't be any worse. It couldn't be any worse. Honestly, you could sell it to him, and it honestly couldn't be any worse than what you've got right now. And Jacoby. Even if the Republicans, because you think I'm a Republican, even if the Republicans were in charge, even if the Democrats, even if Donald Trump was in charge and it was a Republican House, a Republican Senate, they had a supermajority across the board, I would still say, sell it to me, sell it to Elon Musk, sell it to Sasha, sell it to anyone, right? Not you, but anybody else, and it would run perfectly.
But hold on a second.
Hold on.
Just to point out, unless they got an all-you-can-eat buffet, you're not buying it. But let me say,
an all-you-can-drink buffet is what you can say to Toby.
Elon Musk bought Twitter. Twitter is now on his last leg because he's begging people to pay money so they can do particular things on Twitter that they could used to do for free. So a lot of people are leaving Twitter. He's also with Tesla. The stock is dropping because Musk. He keeps opening his mouth, and he's also blocking Tesla from doing a lot of AI stuff, and that's Musk.
It's not dropping.
So even if what you say is true, let me tell you something.
Hold on.
A risk that someone takes with their own money is different to the risk they take with somebody else's.
Did it go back up, Sasha? The stock, because I know all EVs were getting hit because of not only EVs aren't moving as fast as they used to be, but I mean they're still moving. Plus, Tesla's not the number one EV in the world. That's actually a Chinese company right now that is the number one EV in the world. You're a good Democrat friend, the Chinese.
Just today, Tesla is over 3%.
So it rose 3%.
Yeah, it's over.
Yeah, it just right now, truthfully, in the actual technological world outside of AI, the big thing is the battery. As soon as they figure out the battery, and that goes for not only cell phones but EVs themselves. If they figure out the battery, then that's going to change the market by a wide margin.
They're not going to do that. Why would they do that? It's in their interest not to do that, so that way you're going to trade your car every now and then. See, again, you people are delusional. You think that the EV car manufacturers are doing it because they care about the environment? No, baby. They care about money, right? They love the fact that they
know that, Shaq. Everybody knows that. I don't know what you're talking about.
But I do have a quick question for Nick.
I think for years that we've been coming on. Hang on, Mark. I'll be very quick. I'll be very quick.
Hang on, Shaq. I want to hear from Mark. Hang on, Shaq. I want to hear from Mark.
Yeah, I had a quick question for Nick based on the book that I mentioned at the beginning of this show and everything, because I know that what Pod TV is trying to do is hopefully have facts, even though we have some very heightened debates and everything along those lines. So apparently, this book they're called "The Death of Truth" that Stephen Brill wrote, and I'm trying to get him to come on and everything. He said that social media and the internet gave snake oil salesmen, and demagogues the weapon they needed to destroy trust and polarize the world. And he's trying to say what we can do about it. So he's saying that there are facts, and it used to be in this world that people could at least agree on the same facts, same set of facts, and then they could debate on what to do about those facts. So as the person that put together this network and everything, do you agree with that thought that there used to be one set of facts, but now there's like 1,001 different sets of facts?
No, there used to not be just one set of facts. But right now, there used to be maybe 10 or 20. Now there's like 2,000 set of facts. But in reality, there's only one set of facts. The problem is, Mark, is that people, because they want to gain attention, like I said the other day, I saw on the internet, Magnus Carlsen died. Then I saw Ferrugia beat Hierarchy, but I had to fact check that. But he did beat Hierarchy. But what you have to do today, which you didn't have to do back then, is to whatever you see on social media, you have to go to other sources to fact check it, because social media, Facebook being the worst, is full of lies. And LinkedIn is actually very good, and I know we're broadcasting them. Facebook is allowing us to broadcast through them right now. But the minute we say something bad about Facebook, oh boy, you violated community standards, they take you off. I mean, and then they put on all this.
Okay, so Nick, be careful. Facebook, you guys are amazing. Mark Zuckerberg, you're the most amazing fellas. These are the two, but see, on Twitter, you wouldn't have to do that, right?
I don't use Twitter. We don't broadcast through Twitter unless you want to pay for it, Shaq. And
I'm sure that I can afford it. I do want to say this. Toby said something which, in all of the years that we've been coming on, this is the one time that I can actually say 100% without any equivocation that I actually agree with him. I actually think that he finally stated a fact that is irrefutable. He said, "Shaquille, I don't know what you're talking about," and I think that is absolutely 100%. Correct.
Woohoo! Yay! Jack, you've been holding on that for a long time. Sasha,
I will. Thanks, bud.
Sasha has something.
Okay, I have a question to everybody. I was listening in part to a previous economic show, and there were questions about tariffs and so on. And I was wondering, honestly speaking, if people in the United States could buy electric car for, say, $12,000, say 12 and a half for sure, would American people be happy, or at least majority of people?
No, yeah, that's a good price for a car.
No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't.
Okay, majority. No, they said, no, we don't want $20,000 car. We want $45,000 car. How about that?
No,
exactly. Because that's what would happen, Sasha. That's exactly what would happen. And it's not just America, across the whole Western, Canada, Australia, whatever, the whole Western world, right? That's why people want to live in their McMansions, right? If you make it if you could buy a Rolls Royce, if everybody could have a Rolls Royce, right, for like 20 grand, so everybody had one, nobody would want one, because people want to have the star symbol. People want to have so it's a $12,000 car. They wouldn't want it. They wouldn't want it.
Not everybody.
50% of Americans are not paying taxes. They're not making nearly enough money to stay afloat. So, do you think that these people say, no, I don't need $12,000 car. Give me $45,000 Audi? Do you think
absolutely, because I'll tell you now. The reason why the everyday, so we always talk about Americans not having $400, right? The majority of Americans don't have $400 in the case of emergency. Well, neither do Canadians, neither do Australians, right? It's the same thing across the Western world. Why? Because they spend the money. And what do they spend it on? They spend it on shit. They go and buy the Gucci shirt. They go and buy the $300 aftershave. This is what they do.
Okay, I take away my question. Okay, people don't.
You're asking a legitimate.
But that's my opinion. That's my opinion.
Sasha, what you're saying is true. Honestly, in those individuals that you're talking about that would buy up that $12,000 car, They would love it because it's cheaper than what they could go out and afford. It's cheaper than what they could use it for. They understand that it is a necessity to get to where they need to go. And a lot of people are struggling and in that position cannot afford these particular things. People like Shaq, who's sitting there laughing, who's already brags about, I made $70 million this year, will not understand.
When did I say I made $70 million this year? How much money do you think I've got? You think I made $70 million this year? What the
You didn't make $70 million
again, Sasha, yes, what you're saying.
I'd love to know where the other $65 million is, because I don't have it.
Housing. That's why you have affordable housing, which people are trying to find that would be affordable for them and their families. You have different individuals that are struggling just to find the needs to eat. The biggest thing that for kids, especially, the biggest thing that causes that holds back education, educational improvements are food insecurity. So yes, all these things that you're talking about, where with a $12,000 car, a lot of people would buy it up.
Okay,
absolute rubbish.
A lot of people.
Absolute rubbish. Please take that down, because I don't want that going out there, Nick. That's absolute rubbish, Jacoby, and I'll tell you why it's absolute rubbish.
No, let's talk about Sasha's question.
I am talking about Sasha's question. I'm responding directly about the cars. Okay, you went off topic into food insecurity. It's a whole different issue, right? Talk about these cars. Absolute rubbish. Let me tell you why it's absolute rubbish. Because if it was true, why don't you see all of the people in the lower economic position buying Hyundais or buying, the cheap cars that already exist? You can already get those, but no, they would rather go and buy a big SUV or a big pickup truck or something like. They would rather go and do that. They might buy a second-hand one, right? And what do? They don't just go and pay for it. They go and borrow the money from a bank at a high interest rate, etc. They go to a second-hand car dealer and they get some horrendous interest rate. People aren't responsible with their money. You're acting as though the people who are poor, but they're fiscally responsible, and it's just not true. They're not.
Everything you just pointed out, you just didn't even understand.
I did understand what you said.
Let me explain. People buy used cars. Used cars are a bigger seller than brand new cars. Then Sasha could probably fact check me on the datas that cheaper cars are actually bigger sellers than these big, more expensive cars that you're talking about.
But not $12,000 cheap cars. That's not what people want.
What you're saying, how you're wanting to just argue against us. Sasha brought up a great point, and it is very true. If the cars were $12,000,
it's not true, because the evidence shows it's not true.
$12,000. If the cars were $12,000, people would buy it up in a heartbeat.
I do what you go set up a car company and get those cars manufactured, right? And I'll bet you $1 million to be bankrupt in 5 years.
Walmart is the number one grocer in the world, is the number one retailer in the world. Why? Because they got cheap stuff. It's not because they're going out to let me go to Richmond.
Yeah, and as soon as anybody has any kind of disposable income, what do? They go and shop at Whole Foods, right? That's what they go and do. People don't want to be seen at Walmart. You can go onto the internet. You go onto the internet and you've got videos of like the Walmart scum, the things that happen at Walmart.
Number one grocer is Walmart.
Okay,
it's the number one grocer in America, not the world, but right.
It is in the world.
It's in the world, but because it's in America.
Let me clarify my proposal. We're talking about $12,000 brand new car.
Yeah.
No incentives or no, just go and get your brand new car for $12,000. By the way, it's going to be electric vehicle car, which doesn't eat a lot of gas, as you know. And you don't need, in most cases, you don't even need a loan to buy it, because $12,000, it's affordable. Or even dealers can provide you with probably half money as a loan and half money equity. But that's not the point. The point is how to do it. Who can supply them?
Nobody wants them. People don't want things that are affordable. People want to buy things that are slightly more than affordable. Let's have a look. Go back. Jacoby, you disagree. That's fine. Let me speak. You disagree with me. That's fine. Just let me speak for a second. Sasha, let's just go back a little. Let's just rewind time just a little bit, right? Mercedes, prestigious brand. They bought out that horrible car. I always bought one, but anyway, they brought out that 4x4, right? It was, I think it was called the Mercedes 4.4 or something, right? And it was a little car, and on the ad you could park 3 of them in 2 car spaces, right? They had a special, and I believe it was the same price in Canada, right? And I'm not 100% sure about America, but it was about the same price across the world. Mercedes-Benz would finance it for you, and it would cost you $44 a week because it was the 4x4, 4.4 or whatever, right? Okay, they brought it out. It was cheap. It was affordable. Pretty much anybody could get one. Okay, they didn't sell. Nobody wanted them. Why did nobody want them? Because it was affordable. Because people want to have something that's a little bit out of reach for other people. That is just human nature. Okay, and again, I'm just going to say it again. And Jatovi, you're welcome to respond, and you're welcome to disagree with me. But here's the thing: the people at the bottom are not fiscally responsible and just happen to be poor. They generally are fiscally irresponsible. And being part of being fiscally responsible is buying shit you can't afford.
I love how you.
And why not? And by the way, why not? It actually makes sense. If your broadcast can't afford it, what you should do is borrow as much money as you can, because what are they going to do? They're going to seize the good? What are they going to do? They're going to put a bad mark on your credit? Who cares?
Shaq, by your logic, there should be more brand new vehicles than used vehicles. There should be more BMWs and Mercedes than Toyota and Honda and Hyundai.
That's not what I said.
By your logic.
That's not what I said.
That is exactly, you said, oh, people don't want what's
yeah, they don't want it. They don't want it.
People don't want that. People don't want what they
people would rather buy a second-hand car that used to be worth 40 than to buy a brand new car that's worth 12.
You legitimately said that people want what they can't afford. True. But people buy what they can.
No, they don't. People buy what they can't afford. Why do you think everyone's in debt? Why do you think people don't have $400 in spare cash in their bank account? Because they buy shit they can't afford.
By your logic, there should be more BMWs, more Mercedes, more Genesis, all these Lexus out there. There should be more, but they're not. What it is?
Okay. Just so fine. Yeah. So fine. Okay. So I'm okay. Fine. You've made your point. You've made your point.
No.
Let me respond.
No, it's irrefutable. You cannot argue it because.
Okay. So let me respond. You've made your point. So
let me argue it. This is what I'm talking about. When you say I downplay the facts, you downplay the facts because you have nothing to defend your side. Facts are facts for a reason. If the sun is out here and I can see the sun, it's a fact.
You've actually made your point. Let me respond so we can keep the conversation going.
Let's not do that. If the fact is there, just accept it so we can move the conversation down the road. What Sasha said.
Okay. So in order to move the conversation, I can't respond. Just be quiet. Let me respond to what you said. So if you're correct,
don't deny the facts.
God, you are so soft, aren't you? If you're correct,
thanks for the compliment. You haven't disputed my facts. You just came in to try and do an ad hominem. Gotcha.
Now can I go, or are you done, or can I go, or what? Are we sure? Are we sure? Okay. Go ahead. I can send you some of that like Nivea skin cream, right, just to soften you up a bit, make you feel a bit better, right?
Still not disputing the facts.
Yeah. Okay. Let's say you're correct. Let's say I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Cool. You're correct. So by your logic, are you trying to tell me that all these broadcasters around the world, or no, not around the world, the broadcasters in your country and in mine, right, what's really going on is they are fiscally responsible. They only buy what they can actually afford, and their lack of financial resources is not because of their own irresponsibility. It's not because they made poor decisions. It's not because they decided to take low-paying jobs. Nothing like that. Nothing to do with them. They're fiscally responsible, but they just so happen to be in the unfortunate position where not only are they not able to bring in a sufficient amount of money to not be a broke ass, but they also have no ability in their entire lives to actually improve that condition. Is that the position that you're holding by your logic?
No, I said none of that. What you're trying to do is turn poverty into this black and white simplistic thing. We're saying,
don't bring race into it.
You're not smart at finance.
I'm not smart in finance. I'm not smart in finance. This is a guy that just said I made 70 million this year. Where'd you get that figure from?
prove me wrong that there are more BMW and Mercedes and high rolling cars in impoverished areas.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you on that.
So when we talk about Sasha's question of if these cars were cheaper, would people buy them? By your logic,
no, they wouldn't.
Yes. Why? Because they can afford it. They would update it and change it, but they can afford it and they would buy it. By your logic, you're saying that they would go for this more expensive car.
All right. I got you. Let me respond.
You are incorrect.
Okay, I got you. All right, I got your point.
You haven't disputed that.
I've got your point. Now, here's the thing. These fiscally responsible poor that you're referring to, right?
You're trying to throw this label on top of them. Why not just say, if people, just go ahead and say, no, you believe these people are just idiotic. They don't know how to handle money. You're trying to blanket it down to that. Let's not do that. You're poo-pooing on those individuals and what they've been through. We don't know that. You made $70 million. You bragged about a car at an airport just for me. I don't give a crap what you make.
I haven't made 70 million. I don't know where you've got this figure from.
The fact
I don't know where you've got this figure from, dude.
More closely related to than you are. So I'm speaking from their position, just like Sasha is. Sasha understands.
Okay. Hang on. Nick, come back up. Nick. Hang on. Hold up. I'm talking about cars and finances. I don't know why you've gone down this personal road, but okay, just so the audience is clear, right? So I showed you the Rolls Royce that I was in on my way to the airport because we were having an argument, and right, okay. I don't know where you got the figure of 70 million from. I have not made 70 million this year. I don't know where you've got that. I don't know, like, whose ass you pulled that out of, but that's ridiculous. I'd love to. Sorry, what was that?
65 maybe?
Yeah.
69.9 million, not 70, right? I don't know where he's got this figure from. I've got no idea where he's got this figure from. But anyway, let me just come back, right? And I know you're very sensitive, Toby, but if you're going to tease me, you should just be thick-skinned enough to allow me to tease you back. Now, these fiscally responsible poor people that you're talking about, right, who are going to go out and buy the 12... It's okay. You're going to be okay, sweetheart. Just relax. Just relax. I'm just going to speak for a minute, okay? It's not going to hurt you. I promise you'll be okay, right? Just let me speak for a second. These fiscally responsible poor people that you talk about that are going to go and buy the 12... Okay, Jacoby, you keep saying you didn't say it. The audience knows whether you did or didn't say it. I know you didn't say it.
You did
Jacoby, I know you didn't say it.
How are you doing this?
Wow. Look, okay, for the record, okay, Jacoby, all right, I'll make it very clear, okay? Sasha, Mark, audience, he didn't say the thing that I am attributing to him. I am lying and misquoting him for theatrical effect. Okay, are you okay now? Are you okay? Does that cover it? Are you all right, sweetheart? Are you okay, sweetheart? Are you good?
The facts. He's still running around this whole...
Okay, now can I finish the sentence? The fiscally responsible poor that Jatovi is talking about, right, who are going to go and buy the $12,000 car because it's affordable, why would they do that? Because we all know that brand new cars devalue very quickly. As soon as you drive them off the lot, they devalue by 30 or 40% or whatever. So if they're so fiscally responsible, wouldn't they buy the second-hand one? And if they're going to buy the second-hand one, that means that people of higher means are going to be the people that are going to go and buy the car. And if they've got higher means, they're probably not going to want a $12,000 shitbox today. And how do we know that? Because there have been car manufacturers that have produced cars at a cheap price point, and they haven't sold. That's how we know that, Jacoby.
Correct. Just to point out a fact, as we talked about earlier, Tesla started out at what did Tesla come out? As a matter of fact, Rivian. If you're, by your logic again, Rivian would still keep their car at that $70,000 to $100,000 range, right? But no, they're not. They're actually creating a car. Why? They're creating a car cheap. Why? because they
Tell me-
want to actually broaden their base. Hence the
You
reason
tell
why
me, you
Tesla,
can
when
buy
they came
you can
out,
buy cars for a
Tesla,
couple of
when they came
grand.
out, hey, it's okay, don't get triggered. When Tesla created their car, when they had their car at $70,000 and $100,000, do you know what their Model 3 that they dropped? Why did they put it at $28,000? Because it was more affordable for people and became a
No,
broad base.
not at
This
all.
is actually,
Not at
yes,
all.
it is.
Not
Which
at
one
all.
sells-
Not at all. Not
Okay,
at all.
Let's
Not
stop
at
talking
all.
all this. Let's see.
That was
Let's
a
see.
marketing
Hold on,
strategy.
Shaq. Let's do this right now. What's the number one car? What's the number one car?
Okay, look, Jacoby. Our audience, no, don't cut me off. Let me speak. Our audience is well aware that you can Google, so let me speak while you Google.
Number one EV car being sold.
Let me speak while you show off your Googling abilities. Let me speak.
For most people,
Okay.
and the Tesla Model 3 was how much? It was 41,000. Do you know the best electric truck, which was the Rivian, that was 71,000? These cars right now, the Rivian truck isn't everywhere. The Model 3 is actually out there more than the Rivian truck, and actually the other Teslas that are out there, even the Tesla Model S, which isn't everywhere, but the Tesla Model 3 is. Why people can afford the Tesla Model 3 more. So what I'm pointing out to you here is, Shaq, is the fact that if something is affordable, hence the reason why Walmart itself is the number one retailer across the globe. And don't say, oh, well, because it's in the US. Time out. My friend, do you realize the number one EV is in China? The biggest market for cars is actually the Chinese market because they have a bigger population. They have more cars. So again, when we talk about these things, it's about affordability. And when these cars become affordable for the masses buy it. Sure, the rich try and reach down and buy a whole bunch of cars cheap too. However, just as you pointed out, your little Rolls Royce that rolled in the back, you didn't point out a Honda Civic. No, you pointed out a Rolls Royce because you could afford that. But
yeah, because I don't cruise around in a Honda Civic. That's right. Yeah, because I don't. But yeah, that's right. But you know what? You know what, Jacoby?
Who would actually advertise here?
Does there come a point where I can actually respond?
4 cars. Rolls Royce can only sell 1. That is why they make these cheaper cars. And that is why when Sasha points out, if the car was cheaper, yes, these people would actually go out and buy those cars because they could afford it. It was much more affordable. There are some of these trucks and everything else. There will be some that won't.
Yes. Hold on a second. I know I want to hear from Shaquille and maybe if Sasha's got some of the else, but I will raise something that came up in a.
Well, before you go, I mean, I've been waiting to respond. He cut off my response to repeat his point.
I've got to engineer another show shortly as well, so I'm going to make my point and everything. And actually, it's going to back something that you said really quickly, because and I think Jacoby might agree with this as well, because I was having this conversation recently about housing, and I do know for a fact, to your point, Shaquille, that there are some people that are moving down to New York that are paying some significant rates, because the rates have gone up even here in North Carolina because we've had gentrification and everything. So there are people that are coming down here that don't mind paying $1,700 to $2,500 for the apartments down here, because to them that is cheap, because if they're doing it in New York, $3,500 to $5,000 is expensive in New York, so they think that it is a cheap thing to come down here because it's cheaper down here. So we got a lot of New Yorkers that are moving down here because they are paying a cheaper rate because it is cheaper down here, which is what I think the point that Sasha was trying to make and everything, because they are coming down.
Okay, so let me just respond. Let me just respond to a couple of things. So Jacoby brings up the fact that Tesla or whoever reduced their car prices, right? They did that because there was competition in the market. It's a marketing strategy. They did that because there was competition in the market, and they wanted to be able to sell more cars because they wanted to make more profit. Okay,
Why?
Not because it was more affordable.
The price.
So for example, Cadillac, who I think is an amazing car, right? I've driven their cars when I've been in America. And I've constantly said, I don't understand why Cadillac doesn't sell the Cadillac in Australia, right? You're just going to put the steering wheel on the other side, change the indicators, not big changes. You'd sell these cars, right? It's $100,000, easy, right? Now, to buy a new Cadillac in the States is like 50,000, 60,000. Well, you know what? They finally brought them out. I'm going to pre-order for it. And you know what? It's not 100,000. It's 140. Okay, but the market here will support $140,000 for a Cadillac, whereas it wouldn't. If Cadillac tried to sell the car in America for that, they wouldn't sell them. That's why they put the price point where they did. Secondly, you made the comment, Jatomi, about me cruising along.
You can take
No, you wouldn't let me get in. No, you wouldn't let me get in when you were speaking.
Let Sasha know. This is just real funny.
You wouldn't let me say a bloody thing while you were speaking. Why do you need to interrupt again?
Sasha, look at that chess move right now. You see this chess move, Sasha? Right now, Shaq just came back and said, oh, there's that extra competition, and that's why they had to drop the price to sell more cars. When you make it cheaper, that makes it more affordable, which means we're back to my point. That
no, you're not.
Cars,
you're not back to your point.
Logic, he was you're not more expensive. That means more people.
So, Toby, why don't you just make them speak?
That's what people should do. Like that chess move, talk about the Queen's Gambit and all the other stuff. When he tried to, I'm going to make this move and just argue and not listen to what you say. I listened. And what you said, Shaq, is that people would not buy it if it were cheaper. By your logic, your own logic that you just stated, more competition came in. So these other companies wanted to drop their price to sell more cars. By your logic, they shouldn't do that. They should raise it to sell more cars.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said.
Is that if it were cheaper, people would buy it.
At some point, you should let me speak.
People would buy it.
Okay. Jatomi, you've made your point. You've adequately made it. Let me speak, okay? You've mischaracterized what I said. I said they needed to reduce their prices to remain competitive with their peer group of car manufacturers, not because they need to make it more affordable, okay? There's a big difference between the two. Secondly,
it's more affordable.
Secondly, I want to address this point that you keep bringing up about the Rolls-Royce. You said something, and I don't know if you meant it as a pejorative, but I assume that you did. Well, you can afford a Rolls-Royce. Yeah, I can, right? You know what I don't do is I don't fly in a private jet when I'm going overseas. Why? Well, because I can actually afford it, but it's too much money. I don't want to spend that sort of money in a private jet. Okay, it's very rare that I fly in a private jet. I'll fly in first class. I'll fly, with commercial airlines. Why? Because that's comfortable and I can afford it. But what other people do, people who generally are poor, is that they spend too much money on shit that they don't need. And then people like you say to people like me that we should pay more in taxes to keep things fair because we need to help all those people. Now, people that are in real poverty, they should have help. But don't ask me to give up my money, right, to help those people who are irresponsible.
This is the funny part. So just to point out the Rolls-Royce thing, a Rolls-Royce is over 100,000 plus. The cars that I was talking about.
No, not over here. It's not. Over here, Rolls-Royce is between 800,000 and 1.2 million.
Yeah, okay, 100.
Right? And the one that I was in is worth about 900 grand.
Okay, so isn't 800,000 more than 100,000? Because I said 100,000 plus, but you couldn't even accept that. You just want to argue. So again,
okay. Sasha, how much is that bottle of beer? It's more than $1.
The 800,000, $1 million, whatever. It's 100,000 plus. The Honda and everything is 100,000 less. The Corolla, the Toyota is 100,000 less. When I live
in a house that's worth more than $50.
I just pointed out a Rolls Royce, which is something that you were going to be able to afford easily. And I pointed out a Rolls Royce is something that maybe me, Mark, and Sasha would not afford easily.
I think Sasha might be able to afford one.
If
we'll put Sasha on a payment plan.
Check this out then. Since you triggered over the Rolls Royce, we're going to stay on it. If a Rolls Royce were affordable to Sasha, to Mark, to myself, we definitely would buy one. Sasha, you may want, a Bentley or whatever, but hey, if it were $800,000,
okay. Let me tell you. You wouldn't be able to. Sasha, you wouldn't be able to because what would happen is.
But if it's $800,000, it's going to be a bigger thought. That's
what would happen is
with your argument, You
Why
legitimately
can't you just make your
stated-
point once? Why do you need to keep
You
repeating your point? Let us
legitimately
respond to it, dude.
You
Let us
legitimately
respond to
stated,
it.
You legitimately stated
Now you're going to remake the same point. You've already
these
made the same point
individuals-
twice.
These individuals, because of competition, made their price cheaper. Making their price cheaper means they're trying to make it more affordable and attractive to individuals that could not only.
Okay, you've made your point. Let me respond. Okay, Jacoby, you've made your point. Let me respond, dude. Let me respond to you.
So again, you are agreeing.
Oh
with
my
me.
goodness. Really,
You
dude.
want
Let me
to
respond to
argue.
you. What do you just want to take the next 5 minutes to remake the same point over and over?
The argument is
You
over.
make it.
Right when he
You've
brought up.
made
Sasha, that was a great
you've
question.
made the point about the Rolls Royce. Now here's the thing. If it was affordable, it wouldn't be as desirable to you, right? It really wouldn't be because everybody would have one. Everybody would have one. The reason why people want them is because they're rare, because they're expensive, because very few people have them. If everybody has them, and what would happen is people like me would stop buying them. I'd want something else because I don't want the same car as everybody. My drive car is the same as everybody else has got, but I have a couple of prestigious cars for certain occasions, okay, because I like them and I can afford them. That's first. Secondly, even if the Rolls Royce was affordable for you to buy, you shouldn't buy one because do you know how bad the fuel efficiency is on those things? Okay, it's going to cost you a fortune. Do you know how much the maintenance is on those things? It's going to cost you a fortune. So even if you could afford to buy the thing, if you're a broke ass, which I'm not, you're not, but if a person happens to be a broke ass and you want to go and buy a Rolls Royce because it's cheap, that's a really bad financial decision because you can't afford the maintenance, you can't afford the insurance, you can't afford the repairs, and you certainly can't afford the fuel.
I get all that, but what you're not understanding, what you are not understanding, and
No, I understood what you said. You don't need to repeat it. I understood what you said. I just don't agree with you. There is a difference, Toby. There is a difference between somebody not agreeing with you and somebody not understanding what you've said. I've understood what you've said. I think you're wrong.
Why did you say I don't understand?
What the hell does that have to do with anything?
So
me saying you don't understand is not the same as me not understanding something. Let's go to Sasha. We've dominated the show. Let's go to Sasha.
Sasha, if stuff were cheaper, would you buy it? Yes.
Okay, number one, let's talk about quality of the cars. The car of $12,000, if it has the same quality,
it's not good. It's going to be a piece of shit, Sasha.
$25,000. I think most of the people, not all, but most of the people would buy $12,000 car because for them, 25 and 12,000, it's a big difference in price. Now, people like in your position who would buy $250,000 car, you wouldn't be interested in 12,000 or 25,000 or 75,000 for that matter just as well. So we are talking about different category altogether.
No, but Sasha, it's not true because my drive car, the everyday car that I drive around in, I go to the shops and stuff like that, it's just a normal car. It's a normal car that, that normal people drive. Okay, again, I only bring out like my nice supercars and stuff and my prestigious cars if I'm going to the races or if I'm going somewhere. And it's a nightmare too because you got to find somewhere to park it. You got to keep an eye on it. You got to make sure if you can't find somewhere to park it where you can keep an eye on it, there's going to be security. There's all sorts of shit you got to put up with, right? My insurance is my insurance is more than $12,000 a year. I'm thinking about buying the car for $12,000. I think my insurance is about $12,000 a year on that car. So there's all sorts of things that go on now. The fact still remains. Everyone keeps Jacoby keep coming back to look. If the cars were 12,000, people would buy them. It's not true because they've brought out cheap cars in Canada, in the US, in Australia. They've brought in cheap cars. Hyundai, when they first came out, was really cheap. Daihatsu Daewoo was really cheap when they first came out. Skoda was really cheap when they first came out. Mitsubishi, if we could go back 30 years ago, was really cheap when they first came out. They were like a third of the price of other cars. And what happened? Did people start buying them en masse? No. People want the thing that's a bit more prestigious. And by the way, if Jacoby is so correct, why don't you go and open up a car yard, Jacoby? Because I can tell you now, there are some Chinese manufacturers right now that can have a car landed, even a truck landed in the US for under $10,000. And you know what? They're absolute pieces of shit, but it's under 10 grand. And you know what? I guarantee you nobody's going to buy it.
So do you realize that The reason why these cars started off cheap and then started picking up in price, not only was that dealing with a whole economic stuff, supply and demand, all this other stuff, want, need, and everything else. So your argument there is wrong. When they came over here, this is why again, I don't know why you keep missing the fact that you are arguing against yourself, because you are talking about,
perhaps I have a more sensible argument when I argue with myself instead of trying to argue with you. Well, when I argue with myself, I might learn something.
Okay, we get it. You're trying to make an insult. So when you are arguing that in competition in the market drives down the price, true thing, yeah. But you know why it's driving down the price is because these things, be it cars, tumblers, whatever.
But then why don't they keep their prices there? Once they get in the market, they raise their prices.
Cheaper. They're wanting to be cheaper and more attractive so they can continue to sell. Once the market starts ticking up, yeah, sure, they're going to follow and go up with the market, continue, their profit. Can we get you?
Nick, Mark, can we get him on MSNBC? He can sit there with Joe Scarborough, and it'd be brilliant. It'd be amazing. It'd be an amazing show. Nobody would watch, but nobody watches anyway. It'd be perfect. Maybe we can get you on the View, something like that.
The point is the fact that things go cheaper and they become more affordable to make it. Not because, it's because people buy cheaper things. People buy, if they can afford it, they're going to buy it. It's the reason why Walmart's the number one seller and not Saks Fifth Avenue. It's the reason why Walmart is the biggest grocer and not Whole Foods.
And Whole Foods is going out of business, right?
No,
Whole Foods is going out of business, right?
Whole Foods is fine. They got bought by Amazon. Another cheap seller. That's the thing that you, for some odd reason, want to argue against. Yet you want to argue with us because we say it, but you're agreeing with it. So when the BLM people looted after George Floyd's death, they didn't go and loot Gucci and Armani and Versace and all them. No, they went and looted Walmart. Your question was phenomenal. Your question was spot on. It was correct. People would buy it if it were cheaper. That's just a fact of life.
They go start the business. Start the business. Get a car yard, set it up in Durham, right? But put a sign at the front, right? Broadcast cars for broadcast people, and see how you go. You'll sell them like hotcakes, according to you. Go do that. But you're so confident. Go do that.
Let's move to Mark because we're tired of your corny.
I'm just getting to wrap up the show and everything because it's about time. We've got the timeshare. Speaking of people that have got issues that they're dealing with, because that's what Irene is talking to. These people that have been scammed by various timeshares. I will tell you, Shaquille, please don't mention Cadillacs again, because as Jacoby will tell you, there is a movie that is out that talks about the ways that the blues artists were robbed and everything, and it was based on a record label called Cadillac Blues and everything. So every time I hear the word Cadillac, it gives me like some conniptions because of that particular movie and everything.
Oh, but Mark, I'm sorry, because I've got a deposit down at the moment on a 1959 Cadillac convertible. It's a pink convertible in the States. I'm trying to get the import permit to bring it in over here. And that is actually my all-time favorite car. Right, it's like 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in about 6 hours, but I love the car. Always have. I loved it when I was a kid. That's the car I like. I've always loved Cadillacs. So I'm afraid you'll have to put up with me mentioning it some more.
The way that they robbed a lot of the blues artists, and that's the name of the movie. It came out many decades ago. I know Jacoby's familiar with the movie and all along those lines, but it was definitely there. But I'm going to try to get my brother to get you a slingshot, because I think that you need to be in a Batmobile car. So I think that's what you need. So I'm going to see if we can't get you one of those Batmobile cars, Shaquille, because I can see you skidding around in a three-wheeler, because that's what Malik drives and everything. So I can see
well, it's saving money on tires at least. It's only 3 wheels.
Yes, it's only 3 wheels. It's a 3-wheeler. Looks just like this car, and there's several of them. You've seen them. They roll around the triangle and everything, but it definitely looks like, if you remember the old movie Batman, it looks just like the Batmobile.
The spiders.
Yeah. And on that note, we're going to get on out of here. That was a lively conversation. I did appreciate your comments and your thoughts, Sasha. And I know we've got Irene's show going on right now, and she's got that going on the network, and she's
Well,
got
send Sasha herself the link, and David just drop it into the chat.
Cool.
Mark, could you send me a link for this Irene show? I cannot find it otherwise.
All right, I'll do that. Let me get in. Let me end this show, but then I'll do that
Thank
just
you.
to here, and I'll send you the link.
Bye-bye.